Shalom everyone, welcome back to Yerushalayim Eshet Torah Essentials class, our last installment before Passover. And amazingly, it's my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday!
Thank you.
Hebrew or English?
What?
Hebrew or English?
I thought you said, are you wearing blush? It's Hebrew. I don't celebrate my English birthday. I don't even know when it happens. Although I think this week it'll happen on Shabbos, so I don't even have to get all those phone calls. You know, because it hurts me every time my father calls me. He's like, "Oh, I celebrate your English birthday." I'm like, "It's not your birthday. It's my birthday." He can't get over the fact that I have a Hebrew birthday. But your actual zodiac sign is connected to your Hebrew birthday. That's your zodiac sign. So I mean, mine would be the same either way. You're Aries, whether you're April 8th or whether you're the 10th of Nisan, which is today. Either way, you're this is Aries, and but it's important because some people are on the border, where like for example, there was a woman tonight who I met today. It's tonight. Whoa. That might be my all-time record. That might be my all-time record. No, because I say funky things when it comes to time. But I think calling today tonight, that's over the top. Anyway, there was a woman I met today who thought she was an Aries because her birthday is April 6th, April 7th, and in fact she's from the previous month, which is Adar. She's an Adar baby. Anyway, so that's important to know the Hebrew calendar, which is the lunar calendar, and that's the one that's your actual zodiac sign. You're probably wondering what the zodiac sign has anything to do with anything. Well, this class will actually teach you a little bit about that. Anyway, so I walked out of my house today. Just quick story to start. I walk into my house, and I'll teach you all a lesson. God's running creation, and our job is to go with the flow. You just go with the flow. You make as little decisions as possible. Little decisions. For example, let's say you see an open counter and your baggage is a little overweight, and you just don't want to get checked for that financially. So you'd think I'm just going to jump up to that open counter. But to get to that open counter was a bit of a push, and there was a question if the people kind of gathering their bags were actually the ones going there. And don't go there. If the flow of traffic was heading you towards this counter, that's your counter. Even if you have to wait a few people, don't go anywhere till it's time. I just had someone recently. I was just going with the flow because I was too many bags and overweight, and they were taking everybody else before me. And I was just someone finally said "What are you doing here?" And I'm waiting for my turn. And they're like, "But people keep taking your turn." I'm like, I don't want to talk to the wrong people here. I'm letting God do this. So you go with the flow. Anyway, so what happened was I got to Betzalel Street, which is the Hemshech, I'm English, Hemshech of Ben Yehuda, and I'm walking down Betzalel, and I say to myself, I'm just kind of going to peer at the traffic to see if any of these cars are going to take me to the old city. Also, I only realize now that I don't think I even have money to get here. I had dollars. I mean, I guess I would have been able to get here on dollars. Anyway, so I kind of peered at the traffic and just gave it that And there I see a beautiful Mercedes taxi. And I see a passenger in there, so I turn back around. But the cab driver honks on his horn. I turn around, he's like, "Come over here." He wants to make a little extra buck. And this guy's sitting in the passenger seat, my friend Benjamin. Say hi. Who's here on the Maccabi games from Vienna. And the cab driver says, makes it more interesting. Yeah. So anyway, Benjamin. So the cab driver tells me that Benjamin is going to, careful the volume buttons, make sure you put it the other way. Slide it. Anyway, Benjamin, also next time just flip around the camera and press the button. Anyway, the next the driver tells me he's going to Damascus Gate. But Damascus Gate's kind of a dangerous place, especially with an Israeli-looking guy like him. Yeah, he's going to Damascus Gate because I don't know who told him to go there. And so I'm like, okay, cool. So just take me to Mamila. I'll go to Mamila. He says 20 shekels. I'm like, perfect. And that's about all I had. And so we're all set. But anyway, we got to know each other. And I explained to him it's kind of a radical place to go, and like a Hamas hotbed, and which he can still go to on a 7-minute walk from here. And next thing you know, he's with the mayor of Jerusalem, and here we are. And now he's in class. When's the last time you went to a Torah class? Okay, so here we go. So listen up. Today's class is very exciting. I'm going to start with something that I don't know if it'll be familiar to you, but you'll see what you want to do with it. We're not going to dwell here for long. But what we're going to look at first is just take apart the word spiritual. Let's look at this word spiritual. I'll try to get it light here. Let's look at the word spiritual. Okay? What 2 words do you see in the word spiritual?
Ritual and spirit.
Very good. Okay? Spirit and ritual. Okay? And there's 2 words there. Spirit and ritual. The word spirit is a little harder to define, so let's start with ritual. Ritual is something that takes place, physical time, like you can video ritual. It takes place in space and time. And that's a ritual, which could be anything. I mean, it could be going to gym every day, going to get your espresso and a croissant. It could be lighting Hanukkah candles. It could be making kiddush. It could be celebrating the Passover Seder. Those are all various rituals. The word spirit's a little harder to define because spirit does not take place in physical space and time. It's spiritual, meaning the ritual there's like a body to it, whereas the spirit just has the soul aspect going on. In fact, probably no one here can even define the word spirit. It's hard to define at all. So I will help you with a little ancient Latin, and that's from the word spire. And the word spire means air in lungs. That's it. It's very anatomical. Very anatomical. Air in lungs. For example, if you run, you will what? Perspire. You will perspire. If you're running, you will perspire, which comes from the lungs. The air gets in the lungs. After a while, all the moisture in there starts spreading out, and coming out of your body. And that's called perspiration. If you were to pass out because you overran or got heat stroke or something, so then we'll bring the emergency vehicle and we'll put on you a what? Respirator, so that you will respire. We want to get the air back in the lungs, so we give you a respirator. And if we fail, you expire.
Whoa.
That's right. Okay. So spire means air in the lungs. If you go to the Swiss Alps and you look at those mountains, and I've done this amazing. 2 years ago I did 200,000 vertical feet of mountain biking in 4 days. I never even rode uphill. All I did was just take those gondolas up and flying down those trails straight down to my massage. 4 days straight. So my other job makes more money. Now just kidding, it was a gift of a student of mine. I have this student who's like the most ADHD, impetuous guy in the world. And he tells me, "Oh my gosh, my wife and I are going to St. Moritz, Switzerland. You and your wife should join us." I'm like, "Cool." He hangs up the phone, I call my wife, I'm like, "We're going to St. Moritz, Switzerland." She's like, "Amazing." He goes home, tells his wife, she's like, "Are you kidding me? You invited Yom Tov to our vacation in St. Moritz? Are you out of your mind?" He almost got thrown out of the house. I get a phone call, he's like, "Listen, bro, I'm really sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. But my wife's like, you're not bringing your rabbi on our vacation to St. Moritz." And which I understand. I'm not exactly the character, you want to show up to every romantic meal. Anyway, but he says, "Listen, I'll make it up to you. Just book your ticket. Book your ticket the day after we leave. Like, we'll leave, you'll come. I can't not send you at this point." So I'm like, "Honey, I got bad news. It's just the 2 of us." So anyway, there's spirit. When you get up to the Swiss Alps, we had to pull over our rental car every half a mile. We kept pulling over the car, just going like, whoa! I mean, you literally want to get out of your car and start rolling around the floor. freaking out on the beauty of the Swiss Alps. And you got to go see them. You got to go see them. And I even am nervous to say that you may have to answer for it upstairs if you didn't. So at some point you got to get over there. And if you think you can't afford it, it's not expensive to go there. It's really expensive.
Where you're going from.
Yeah, no, the flight can be expensive. From here it's cheap, but it's you can go to Airbnb for nothing, like nothing, and and you get your own pad for like, like $80 or something. Just don't eat.
Yeah.
Now, you bring food. It would bring a suitcase of food. If it was just my wife and I going, we would have brought our own food, for sure. So, anyway, so that's inspiration. When you're inspired, when you're blown away by something, you're like, wow, inspiration. Okay, enough said. The ritual of something is the what. Okay, how do you say what in Hebrew?
Ma.
Ma. Come on, everyone together. How do you say what? Ma. And how do you say why? Same as Spanish. It's the same as what? Ma, or just got to add what?
Lamed.
Add a lamed. Lema or lama. Why is just for what? It's just the same ma. Spanish, it's que. And what? Alan? Porque. Ma is que and porque. For what? Same here. Lema. Like, to what end is this? What's the difference? And that's the word why. Okay? So a ritual is what you do, meaning I can video what you do. And the spirit of something is why you do it. Okay? There's what you do and then there's why you do it. If you think about it, if you're doing a what and you don't know the why, if you're doing a what and you don't know the why, it's what? What do you call it? What do you call a body without a soul?
Dead.
Dead. Think about it. If you have a what without the why, it's dead. You have nothing. 'Cause you'll just stop doing it because you will lose your motivation to do that particular thing. If you don't have a why to do it, you ain't doing it. Period. You get that? If you've lost your why, you're out. Yeah.
Okay, so before you said spirit transcends space and time, what I don't get is Shabbos spiritual, but you don't. Shabbos is once a week. Shabbos is spirit, which is constricted by time, and other Yom and Tovim and times of the year, all different variations of spirit, but you said it's outside of space and time.
The holidays and Shabbos.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you'll notice that whenever we have a Shabbos, you'll notice that we always are highly limiting what your body's up to. For example, this coming Shabbat, we will all be limiting our bodies from what are 39 principal creative movements that your body can make where you can manipulate matter basically. So the body's level of manipulating the physical world, that we stop doing every Shabbat. And the holiday of Pesach, we will not be manipulating matter on that day. So whenever you're doing something that's super spirit, you do less body. Super spirit, less body. Shabbos is super spirit time. And you still have to have a body. You want to hear something? There's a tradition that said that God originally wanted to have the Jews disappear every Shabbat. Like totally disappear. You can you imagine that like the Gentiles are knocking on your door. We saw them go in there. Hello, hello. Because like the levee broke and the towns got about to flood. There's no one there. So when we're refraining from the creative 39 manipulations, which are breaking thousands of laws, but when you refrain from those 39 manipulations, your body's been basically put on hold. Anytime you do something more spiritual, for example, if someone's going to bring a korban to the Temple Mount, Exhibit A, the Temple Mount. Can you focus in on that Temple Mount over there? Hit fast forward.
You can't do it. Oh.
Never
Listen
mind.
to it.
Not on yours. Listen. When you bring a korban, you're not allowed to do malacha that day. You know that? Malacha, it's the 39 principal acts. Oh, everyone practices some Hebrew, it's called malacha. Badly translated as work. People say, I don't work on Shabbos. But I crank my tunes, and I drive my four-wheel drive truck. And the word malacha does not mean work. The word malacha means 39 principal manipulations of matter. Taking from raw to cooked, taking from on like a light, on to off to on, blank paper to written on paper to erased paper, a living animal to a dead animal. You're not allowed to slaughter an animal on Shabbat. Like, you can't mess with this world. You got to get your body out. You got to extract your body from its over-involvement in manipulating matter, which makes sense. I mean, 6 days you do it. You need another day. You need an extra day of manipulating the world. Like, you can't get your ego out of your world for 1/7 of your life. Like, you got to make your mark. You got to mark every lamppost you walk by. You're not a dog. 1 day a week. 1 day a week, just get out. Get out, go spirit for 1 day a week. What's a big deal? It's like if I gave you, imagine I gave you $7 million. Cash. Yeah? I don't know, I won the lottery and now I'm giving you $7 million cash. Would you be happy?
Pretty happy.
Pretty happy. Now, let's say I came back to you like a month later and I said, something got tied up. I'm like totally out of money. Can I just have one back, please? Would you give me one back?
I don't know.
Bastard. You would give me $1 million back?
I'd probably spend it all, man.
No, you wouldn't.
$7 million.
$7 million. I come back a month later, I want one back.
Month
Would you give it back?
I don't know. I'm just being
You're winning in this class, man. You're being listened to, okay? You're like,
I don't think I'd have anything left. I don't know.
like, what are the statistical chances I would call him this guy? It's like you don't call him people unless it's absolutely for sure they're going to answer properly. I got a guy who, if he had it, he wouldn't necessarily give it back, but he probably won't have it. What was anyway? The answer was supposed to be yes. Yes, I would give you back 1/7. So God gives you like 6 days a week to like go and make your mark, as if anyone's going to remember any of us 100 years from now. Someone here tell me, even your own family, your family, tell me one thing one of your family members did 100 years ago. Your family. One thing they did 100 years ago. Someone in here. And most of you were raised, like, at least half of you were raised observant.
Yes.
Oh, you had someone?
Yeah, but I don't want.
You do too? 100 years ago, what they did?
Yeah, I can.
Amazing. That must have been something radical.
Yeah, that's something big.
It was something big. Okay. They went big. Okay? Professional surfer. What'd they do?
My grandfather started a yeshiva.
Oh, beautiful. Great. It's still going? 100 years later? Wow, what yeshiva? Wow.
Oh, wow.
It's an honor to have you in my class. What was his last name? Wilhelm. What did your 100 years ago one do?
Well, they owned a coal mine up for us, but they were up in Hungary, you know, when but Hitler took everything away. So.
I understand, but you know about their
His
lives.
grandfather was an
Oh yeah,
years
it's
ago.
well documented.
About his grandfather?
Yeah.
What did she do?
No, I'm saying something they did during the day.
What did he do?
Oh, he worked. He walked along the ground, found this coal up, and he found it.
You're imagining that part.
No, that's
You heard
how.
stories about him walking up and down?
You know, he just happened to walk, saw coal, and made a coal mine out of it. You
Oh,
know.
really?
Yeah, yeah. So that's all I know.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's the
yeah.
legend of
Yeah.
great-great-grandfather.
Yeah, there was a. I just.
What was his name?
I think Herzog.
Herzog.
Herzog. H-E-R. I have all the documents.
Excellent.
Wow.
Great. Okay, we trust you.
I didn't know it growing up, though.
Okay, listen up, guys. When you bring a korban, a sacrifice, an offering to the temple, you don't do malacha that day. No malacha. No malacha. You are elevating your life. You're bringing an offering to the temple. This is a day of elevation. You're not allowed to do malacha on a day of elevation. You can't even ask a Gentile to do it for you. Meaning, no messing with this world. You get your body, extract the body out. This is a highly spiritual day. You brought an offering to the temple. No malacha. You want to hear something amazing? You ready for this? Guess what? This coming Monday, from noon on, or 12:41 on. Today it was 12:41 was midday, noon. Leave it to the Jews to have a time other than noon. to be midday, but midday today was 12:41 because we're actually doing the actual details. That's why if I might get stuck, I don't want to get stuck and you guys miss the class. So because we got a lot of important things to do. But let me finish that thought, and I'll try not to digress so much. At 12:41 on Monday, you ready for this? You're not allowed to do malacha. The Seder doesn't start till the evening. You have to be finished with all malacha by 12:41. You know why? Because what if there was some courage in the Israeli government? You thought I was going to say if there was a temple. No. If there was some courage in the Israeli government, and they just block off like a 10 by 10 area so we can bring our sheep up there for our little shawarma, exhibition. The sacrifice of the Paschal lamb, the Paschal sacrifice, where we would all shecht our lambs, which all we need is a little area. Even in impurity, why do you think that we have one offering that you can offer when the whole nation's impure? It's because it's for the end of days when everyone's impure, you'll be able to offer it. It's a weird law, right? Everyone knows Torah here a little bit. If the minority of the Jews are impure, they do it a month later. If the majority of the Jews are impure, you do it then. So we don't need purity. We don't need the red heifer. We don't need all the details of the other korbanot, the other offerings. All you need is a little swath of land up there and a couple of IDF soldiers. And obviously a Kohen to slaughter the thing. And then some, big bad barbecues to get the job done. And we'd be having our Korban Pesach this year. I'm telling you, every year on Passover night when I'm eating my Hillel sandwich, it's kind of missing the shawarma. It's really cute and sweet that I'm eating, this crunch matzah with some lettuce in it. But when's the last time any of you went to a shawarma place and ordered? Just put the lettuce in there. Who wants that? And I want the meat inside there. And there's nothing stopping us except our own identity as a nation and lack of courage to first of all, to have the identity, and secondly, to have the courage to live it. But we are busted, and it's scary. Scary. You want to know why it's scary? Because there's two commandments that bring spiritual exism. One is if a Jewish male is uncircumcised, he has spiritual exism. He has to be circumcised. And if his father didn't do it, then as soon as he's able to get it done, he's got to get it done. But it's a positive commandment. It comes with spiritual exism, which is weird. Normally, you'd think such a heavy spiritual cutoff would come from having done something you're not allowed to do. Meaning you're prohibited to do this and you did it anyway. Okay, like eating on Yom Kippur comes with spiritual exism. By the way, you have to know it's Yom Kippur. You have to say, I know there's a God, I know Torah is true, I know everything's real, and I know it's Yom Kippur, and I know I'm not supposed to eat this, and you have to do it totally wrong to get spiritually excised for that. So I understand why there could be spiritual exorcism for such chutzpah. To do something that's totally forbidden with full connection and clarity with God. But this is a positive commandment of just circumcision, or what's the other positive commandment? To eat the Paschal lamb. Which means our entire nation. You know what we should do? I don't want this to go viral in the government office, but we should just go up, force our way up there.
People do.
Not to do that? You tried this?
People do it. People do it. People
No,
get
we'll
arrested.
go up, everyone. We'll get the Gedolei Yisrael, you get Rav Chaim Kanievsky to command that everyone bum rush the Temple Mount with sheep. Bum rush. We don't want the whole thing. Just give us a little area. Why? Because otherwise, could it be our whole nation? And if it's the fault of the government, how's the government supposed to get anything done when it's got this on its conscience? That it's preventing us. Our government's causing the whole nation to be in doubt of spiritual exism.
We don't have a base on Mikdash. You can bring a carbon without a base on Mikdash.
That you can. You can bring a Korban Pesach.
Really?
Yeah.
Where is this? I mean,
You know, see where it is. You bring the sheep, slaughter it, and barbecue it. It doesn't have any special laws.
No, he's asking for the source.
He's asking for the source.
The Torah.
From Pesach,
Yeah, the Torah.
without,
Torah.
I mean,
Yeah.
where the Mishnah Berurah speaks of I'm saying shofar, but what do we?
You just bring the Korban Pesach. You want to know something? The Belzer Rebbe, one of the biggest leaders of our generation, the Belzer Rebbe, I don't know if he still does this, but years ago he used to do this, and it's very expensive. He would rent an apartment in the old city, put a sheep in the courtyard, and spend his whole day there. Spend his whole day there right before Passover. Now you got to understand, he's got 80,000 Hasidim waiting for him in shul. And so what would happen was, once it hit a kind of a time where they're like, Rebbe, it's not going to happen today. We're just not going to get up there. And then the Rebbe would say, okay. They would put him in his limousine, shoot him out to Kiryat Belz, and he would start Yom Tov. But he would have his sheep ready. And then he'd have a couple people lobby the government a little bit to let him go up there and slaughter it. Is he a Kohen? The Belzer in there? Is he? Rokach? I don't know if they're Kohanim. It's heavy duty stuff, man. We're blowing it big time. And by the way, there's another commandment while we're on it, is to build the temple. You have a commandment right now, today, to build the temple. Prevented only by politics. It's always, anytime there's no temple, one of the 613 commandments is leave noise, to build. You shall build this. You have to build it. It's one of the 613. Put on film today? Yeah. Good. I'm like not afraid to call it anything. Yeah. Put on film today?
Yeah.
It's the black boxes. Put on your film, yeah. Why'd you do that? It's one of the 613. What if 13 drunk Russians were trying to prevent you from putting it on? What would you have done?
Probably not. Huh?
Give me
You
more
wouldn't put it on?
context. I probably would.
He would. I would. Yeah, first I'd be like, knock a few out with it, and then.
Is there a certain place that you have to build?
Meaning, the reason you put it on is because nothing should prevent you from putting that on. Leave noise, build it. Every day. Incumbent. Yeah.
Warning the basic Mikdash builds it, so we can't have people on Shabbos. So if you warn it.
That's very poetic, young lady. However, just kidding. Just reminded me of a scene from Back to School. Listen, wait. Also, go ahead.
Also, how can you go on to the Temple Mount if you don't know where? I thought we can't even go up there because we might be in a place that.
No, there's areas that are fair game. There are areas that are clear. Okay, now. By the way, I'm not suggesting to go up there. Everyone should know I'm not part of the people. I'm not part of the people who say to go tour up there. I'm not. I've never toured it. At least since I'm observing. But I think on my bar mitzvah trip they brought us up there, but I don't remember much from those ages. Now, okay, here we go. Guys, let's just nail this out. I'm gonna be quiet from now on, okay? I mean, that's not gonna work. What are we gonna do? You're teaching or not? So, listen. There's the what's and the whys of life. If you don't have the why, the what's is going to disappear. When Judaism does not have the whys and the what's hooked up, it dies. It dies. I can tell you in my own family, there was a time where people still did a lot of the what's, but they had no idea why. I myself was raised being told to marry a Jew. Ask why. Because that's what we do. That's what we do. Yeah, well, why don't we do anything Jewish if it's so important? I didn't even ask that. I didn't know to ask that. But the point is that there's what and there is why, and if you don't have the why with the what, you wind up being raised like me, which is, we had, by the time my generation, there was almost no what's left. The what was like, I don't even know what we had to do. You had to be in synagogue on Rosh Hashanah. Okay, you had to go, and we drove. We drove to synagogue on Rosh Hashanah, which is malacha. You're not allowed to drive because it's got a piston engine. It's burning every second. It's lighting a fire, which is forbidden on Shabbat. Now, on Rosh Hashanah. Now, look at this. Eastern traditions like Hinduism, Buddhism, all those Eastern traditions, they are much more into the spirit of life. If you could go meditate and just totally divorce your body, you could be celibate, fasting, renouncing all your ritual possession, all your material possessions, and just living, let the monastery care for you. Because think about it, when they say renounce material possession, what they're really saying is you're not going to be making money. You're not going to be involved in the world anymore. You are basically cutting out of the physical world, cutting out of body. Their emphasis is much more in spirit, while Western people are much more involved in ritual. They're much more involved in ritual. They're much more busy with their rituals. You know, and by the way, the drug of the West is the oil. And it's funny that most of the oil was put in the East, but that's a whole different class. But anyway, the Westerners are the consumers. They're the ones with all the rituals and the very expensive rituals. While the East, I mean, just look how it goes. The second you cross the Mediterranean, you're in Europe. Europe is the foundation of the consumers. When you cross back this way, you go east. Okay, you got to jump over Tel Aviv, and hop over Tel Aviv, and then you go eastward, and it just starts getting more and more spirit and more spirit. First, you got Jerusalem, very spirit. Okay. Then you got Jordan, like, have you guys met Jordanians? Yeah, they're pretty chill. Yeah, they're not like, I mean, they're not worrying that much about their iPhone battery, okay? The Jordanians. Now, obviously, people in Amman, Jordan, I'm sure are, but there's a lot of other Jordans, just kind of Jordaners, just living out under the stars. And then as you go further east and further east, it gets more and more spirit, till you're in the stands. Pakistan, Afghanistan. Stands, and then next thing you know, you're in India, Nepal, and you're just like, the further east you go, the more spirit gets. The further west you go, the more ritual it gets, and the more expensive it gets, the more resources they eat, and the consumerism. Now, Westerners are much more ritualistic. Easterners are much more clear. Now, what is? It's like the first time I've ever been in here. I forgot about that. Tell me, what is geographically between Kathmandu and Rome? The foundation, Greece, Rome, the foundation of Western civ. What is geographically in the middle? Yeah, Israel, Jerusalem. We are the center of all that. Now, before we get to Jerusalem, we got to come over here. Easterners see the world as cyclical or linear? Which one? Easterners. Cyclical, yeah. It's not just them. All Aboriginal cultures see the world as cyclical, no matter where you go. Meaning, if you go to Native Americans, they're going to see it as cyclical. It's the nature of people staring at the world. You just notice it's cycles. It's full of cycles. Westerners, on the other hand, have imposed a different type of view. What's their view? Linear. They see things as linear. By the way, where do you think the Westerners got their linear idea from? Because they probably originally saw things as cyclical. Where did they get the linear business?
The Greeks.
The Greeks? Okay, maybe the Greeks. Where do you think the Greeks got it?
The philosophy, logic.
Maybe philosophy, logic, could be. But there's one nation that has had a big impact, and wherever that nation goes, they tend to go linear.
Jews.
Whoever has contact, right, the Jews. Because what's the very first words in this book? In the English.
In the beginning.
In the beginning. So anyone we've had contact with, meaning, imagine it's the very first meeting. So they meet a Jew, and they're like, I'm Jewish. I'm not. And you're like, have you seen my book? No, what does it say? In the beginning. What? Who said anything about a beginning? Yeah, because they saw the world as cyclical, and then we come to talk about beginnings. That there's actually a beginning. So it starts and it moves up through time. But guess what? How did we start this class? We started this class discussing, none of you even know what I'm about to say because you're the listeners, I'm the one who said it. We started talking about zodiac signs, linear or cyclical. Big time cyclical, Okay, they're coming around. Zodiac signs moving around. The constellations are on a big pinwheel. It's like a big pinwheel that the light from heaven shines through the pinwheel, and it has energies shining into our world down here. It's a pinwheel, meaning the zodiac's a pinwheel of energy. All those stars, those aren't just random stars. All those heavenly bodies have spiritual significance and influence on our creation. And as the pinwheel shifts, the influence comes through. So the Jews are linear in the beginning. The Jews are cyclical. Which one is it? Make up your mind. And the answer is, as usual in Judaism, say it. Both. Both. Yes, and you said the shape I'm about to draw, what is it?
An upward spiral. Slinky.
Whoa, that's pretty good.
So I don't even know where to put this because I wrote so much on here. Can I erase those words now and it won't freak anyone out?
Yeah.
Goodbye, Mom. Bye, Mom. Yeah, Mom. Okay, so what it creates is, let's call that the beginning. That'll be this line here. What it creates, now I'm not much of an artist, so please God help me. That's somewhat a spiral. It's not. I like to make it like come up to a point because there will be an end of it all. So I'm trying to have it like end somewhere. Yeah, that'll be like 6,000 years or somewhere around there. This will be like the Messianic era right here. Third temple, and then we don't even know what's going on. That's why I put it up here because we don't know. We don't know. So. Anyway, you got the movement of time with the full cyclical experience. Now, comes along every year. I should make one more. Comes along every year. Holidays. But it's not just holidays. It's actually hour by hour. You know Kabbalists, every hour of the day has a different combination of God's four-lettered name. And for example, we're in Nisan right now, so it's very simple. The name of God for this whole month is, the first week was Yud, the second week is this week, so it's Vav. And then starting next Passover night will be Hey, and then the final night will be Yud, and then Hey, and then Vav, and then Hey. However, when we shift gears into the next month, which is ER, it'll be a different order now. It'll be Yud, I don't know them all by heart, but it'll be a different combination. Letters start switching, those four letters, God's name. Because every month and every week of the month has a different letter that connects to it. We're now in the first month, so it actually gets the straight spelling of God's name. But not only that, every hour, because think about it, there's 12 months. And there's 12 possible spellings of God's name. But there's 12 hours in the day. Why is it half day 12:41 today and not noon like Gentiles would think is midday? Why is it 12:41? Because we take sunrise to sundown divided into 12. And right now it's the spring equinox. And the spring equinox is going to have an hour is going to be about 65 minutes. And so those 65 minutes, if you check out the times 6 to get to half day, it's going to come to 12:41. What do we care about these times? And the answer is, we care a lot about these times because every hour has a window. Every hour has an aperture. I mean, right here, this we're going to call Pesach. Pesach's going through the pinwheel. Can I do another one there, or is that, no?
Yeah.
Whatever you feel like doing.
No, shouldn't it be down here?
Yeah.
Anyway, Pesach's an energy that's coming through the world. It's going to funnel down. But going back to the hourly, it's funneling down hourly. And at 12:41, the morning prayers are no longer relevant. So if you woke up at 12:42 this morning, or 12:40, 12, but you needed the bathroom for a long time. Whatever. If you try to do your morning prayers at 12:42, missed it. Window closed. Shema this morning. Anyone know when Shema was this morning?
9:36 or something.
9:46. No, it wasn't. It was 9:31. Yeah, and I said it at 9:28. I almost missed it. Thank you, God, on my birthday. I did not miss Shema. Because I had an extra long mikvah because it's my birthday, and I was on the hot side, just like, happy birthday, and they, I think I was in there for like 40 minutes. You know, they like had to bring me out with a winch. Okay, get the birthday boy out of the hot pool. So, anyway, it was a miracle. I was on my way to shul, totally spaced out, worrying about whether I'm going to get a minyan at that time, and which I didn't. And I wound up at Zichron Moshe Baruch Hashem, which was beautiful. And I bought an aliyah for 5 shekels, which is unprecedented. And those later minyans, like, they get real cheap for an aliyah. So, I forgot to pay for it. It's all right, I'm there more than a little. And anyway, I'm kind of, Glazers are kind of late risers. So the last second, I'm like, Shema! Like, pull out my watch from my pocket, which is now my wrist, and I'm like, 4 minutes left. And there I stood, like, in the middle of my street, just like, Shema! Yes, sir! Like, a tourist group, like, went running.
Away or
So, anyway, but if I missed that time, the window closed on that mitzvah. Some mitzvahs are time-bound. Well, one of those time-bound commandments are holidays. Holidays are seasonal energies that are going to flow into the world. They're called zmanim. And zmanim, for example, the zman that's coming to us right now, starting Passover night, Monday night, is called zman cheiroseinu, or if you're Sephardi or raised conservative like me, or Israeli, zman cheirotenu. Okay? The zman cheirotenu means the time of our freedom. Freedom time. So we are going to move into a 7-day freedom time. It's a window in time. Now, you think this pipe, I made a pipe. You see the pipe through time? It's a pinhole in the zodiac, which is a week-long energy. It's not just one of those hour things that Kabbalists want to be aware of each hour or something, or we're trying to say Shema. But this is a week-long energy called Chayros, which is freedom. And it's interesting that the word Chayros actually is also the same exact word for etching into stone. Like in the old days, they used to etch into stone, like the commandments. Etch to etch. Meaning freedom, you got to etch that freedom in. Like you got to get this download. It's a download. Jewish holidays are downloads. What's the Hebrew word for a commemoration? Like we're going to say Zecher Yetzias Mitzrayim. A commemoration of the leaving of Egypt. How do you say commemoration in Hebrew? Zecher. And what's the word Zecher? Zion. Whoa, my pen died. Zion. Chaf. Reish. You know what that is the word for? For male. For male. Male. Man. Masculine. The male. What's the male spiritually? The causer. Right? The seminator. The causational. It's the causational. It's not a commemorate. Commemoration is dead. That's like 4th of July. You know, it's the commemoration of American Independence Day, United States Glaser. And they're gonna commemorate. And what does everyone do? They just get drunk as a skunk because you don't know what to do. Like, okay, Mazel Tov. What do you say? Mazel Tov on 4th of July. Like, what do you do? So you get drunk. We, on the other hand, drink 4 cups of wine, 2 of which are on an empty stomach. Just kidding. So what is the word zecher? It doesn't mean commemoration, it also means that. But what it means is zachar, masculine, asserting. It's an energy that flows, it's a download of energy. That's the masculine. That's what masculine does, it asserts. Okay? Feminine receives, masculine asserts. This is in all spiritual law and all mystical traditions. It is, and also every single electrician is dealing with that all day long. Not to mention every window maker, every home builder, everything, and what's holding together your chair, your table, your clothing, and everything is masculine and feminine. There's no other thing than masculine or feminine on this entire planet, including every plant, every animal, every person, unless something really went wrong. Now, except for one plant, which is called the tamar tree. The date tree is actually both male and female. It's only vegetation that's male and female. And that's why we say tzaddik katamar yifrach, because a tzaddik has mastered his masculine and feminine sides. He's a master of both the masculine and the feminine aspects. That's why tzaddik katamar yifrach. A tzaddik, a righteous holy man, a holy man. A holy man flowers like the tamar tree. Now, the word zachar means this is the download. We're getting a download of freedom. When in Hebrew, when someone asks you how Pesach was, they'll say, Ech haya Pesach. How was Pesach? Ech haya Pesach. And then you say, Baruch Hashem. And if you speak English, you say, it was very nice. Because if you're observant and you speak English, everything's very nice. How was the wedding? Very nice. How was Shabbos? Oh, it was very nice. Everything's very nice. Yeah, it's so vanilla. I like it. Always makes me want to puke when someone says something's very nice. Yeah. How was Shabbos? Oh, it was very nice. How was the wedding? It was very nice. How was the trip? Very nice. Everything's very nice. Everything happens very nice. So the anyway, I love when someone just comes back and they're like, it was lamb. Thank you. He's being honest. You know, we don't do anything honest. You know, how are you, Baruch Hashem? Thank you very much. I actually want to know how you're doing. So now listen, the download of so whenever someone says to me, how is Pesach, I always say, Ech Pesach nechnas. How did Pesach go in? Meaning I open myself up to Pesach. Totally. How? And the answer is the positive commandments and the negative commandments. When Pesach came, there were things you're supposed to do, i.e., make Kiddush, read the Haggadah, drink 4 cups of wine, tell the story. There's things to do. You do those things, so then that's the USB cable. You know, when you plug in a USB, well, USB, I don't know how it works, but when you plug in a cable, it's got parts that plug in. There's female and there's masculine, meaning the positive commandments are the masculine. The feminine is get out of the way. Get out of the way so God can do something here. So that would be the feminine part of the plug. So, and there are things on Pesach that we will not do. We will not be doing malacha, as we've spoken about earlier in this class. There's no doing malacha from Monday night sundown until Tuesday night sundown. And also from noon. By the way, I just want to qualify, I forgot, because earlier I told you you're not allowed to do malacha before Pesach from 12:40. So I just want to qualify that. You're not allowed to do a full act of umanut, of like, for example, if you're a dressmaker, you can't start a dress from then on. And you may not even be able to finish a dress if you're really a dressmaker. But for the rest of us, if you find you find a hole in a shirt or something, you can sew that up. You can do stuff, but you can't do a full job. And if you're a professional, definitely have someone else do it. If it's just to finish something, meaning even a professional probably can't even finish something, like found a hole. If they're a pro, they probably can't even finish it. They have to ask someone else to finish it. Meaning, if there's things you still need to get ready, you can get them ready. If you didn't get your hair cut yet for the holiday, I think you're in bad luck, because that's over the top. Yeah, you got to get your hair cut for sure before noon on Monday. You understand? It's like a full, complete act of malacha. It's not you getting ready for the hog and you forgot to cut your nails. You can cut your nails. Okay? You can get your. I think you can even cut your nails on the hog, actually, for some reason. Now, you got that? Is that clear? So it's not the kind of malacha you have to be as careful of normally. It's doing a full act, but it is forbidden to do a full act. Now, it's how did Pesach go in? How does it go in? It goes in via the positive which are the masculine laws, and the feminine, and those that don't do. We will not be doing malacha. We will not be eating chametz. We will not be finding chametz anywhere in the view of anybody. I mean, if you had some kept over, which I certainly have quite a few bottles of, very nice whiskeys and stuff that I will be selling to some Gentile. But they will be locked away, and I will not be seeing them either. They will be locked up. And you get that? So we will be doing stuff, and we'll be refraining from stuff. But what's going to be the download? Begins with a ches. Cheres. The download we'll get Monday night, all through the week, till the following Sunday night. Sorry, the following Motzi Shabbos. The download will be freedom. And what do we mean when we say freedom, since we're talking about it? What is the download? I said freedom. What kind of freedom? Like American freedom? Like do whatever you want, whenever you want to do it? Is that the kind of freedom? Doesn't sound like Judaism to me. What kind of freedom? So the answer is, you ready for what kind of freedom? You guys ready? We're going to end with this. This is the actual download of Pesach. The definition of freedom in Judaism it's not going to be a one-liner. Definition of freedom in Judaism is to realize that this whole physical world is the bondage of Egypt. The whole physical world, the actual physical world, is the bondage of Egypt. And when you awaken, when you become aware that the creator of heaven and earth, the actual divine, is the source of your experience here on earth, and there's nothing you want more to serve than that, because that's like, meaning I just want to connect to reality. Meaning if that's reality, I want that. Like a moth wants a light bulb. I want it like a moth wants a light bulb. I want reality. I don't want to live in the lies. Why do you think we're trying to get rid of, like people are going out of their minds right now to get rid of chametz. Chametz is leavened bread, like leavened, risen bread. You got to get rid of that because it's a lie. It's a lie. I've said this several times this week. Please forgive me for saying it again. But I cut last week. I showed my kids. I cut into a big, fluffy challah, big loaf of bread for Shabbos. It was so fluffy. And I cut this big fat slice. My kids were looking like, who's that for? I mean, it was like half the challah. I cut like this big slice. And then I took the slice, I showed them the cross section of all the white, fluffy white dough. And then I took my other hand, I inserted it, squeezed it down to the size of a credit card. And I showed them the credit card now. And I'm still holding the crust like this. It's a credit card. Because chametz is sheker. And this is the foundation of our nation. And we want to start on truth. We're starting our nationhood on truth. How many marriages have I had to deal with where the families lied about their kid? And you'd think after 15 years of marriage, 12 years of marriage, 20 years of marriage, that the couple would have worked it out. No, the foundations were screwed. They weren't honest. Parents have no idea what they're getting their kids into when they lie about their child in marriage. By the way, the only families that do this now is just Hasidic, but there's a large population of Jews. And if you lie about your kid, you just ruin their life. They're better off single than having the foundation of their marriage be based on something that wasn't real. This is the foundation of our nation. We're the only nation on the planet that was formed in another country. It's impossible. Like, how do you make a nation in another country? We're not from Israel. Jacob was a father with a family. It was just his kids and grandkids. They went down to Egypt because they were hungry. That's not a nation. Our nationhood was born in Egypt in slavery. We're the only nation in the world that's from another nation. It's like the weirdest thing in the world. If you meet a German, he's from Germany. If you meet a Spaniard, he's from Spain. You meet an Austrian, he's from Austria. You meet a Mexican, he's from LA. You meet a Jew, he's from Egypt. It's weird. It's destabilizing. We're not your average nation. We're from another nation. Just another thing to destabilize us from becoming what's called nationalists. You know, every day here I do the cruelest thing. On Soldier Remembrance Day, it's called Yom HaZikaron. I do the meanest thing. Class is packed. I should probably stop doing this, but I do it. I can't stop myself. I'm so mean. I get the whole class to tell me why should the IDF fight? Why should the Jews fight in the army? And then everyone gets their turn, and I write down. We get so many things listed. Like I usually get 3 columns out, because some of the guys are soldiers themselves, so they have what to say why they're fighting, and some are going to be going in the army. And they write down when they're going to go in the army. You in the army? Oh, we got a soldier here. So write down. He's wearing fatigues. So I write down all the list, and they're all sitting there like, okay, Rabbi, we got a exhaustive list here. And I'm like, okay, sorry to do this to you all. And then at the top of the board, I write Mother Russia. And they're all just like, we can't kill you. Because they looked down the whole list, and it had nothing to do with being Jewish. Nothing to do with Judaism, nothing to do with Israel, nothing to do with nothing. That is who we are. Nothing. And nothing worth fighting for. I mean, besides, if you think killing people for your nation's narrative is something you should be doing, I don't. I don't think killing for some random narrative about your neighboring country is, especially the U.S., who like to fight non-neighboring countries. They like to fight their wars thousands of miles offshore, which is a lot safer, I understand, at least for the citizens. And we are a funky people. We are from another nation. And our alliance is to the creator of heaven and earth, like a moth to a light bulb. Now I'm going to end with this. Imagine you found a moth like getting a little too friendly with your light bulb in your house. And you're like, and let's just say you could talk to it. So you're like, Mr. Moth. And the moth's like, don't distract me. Because it's really getting into this. It's like loving this relationship with the light bulb. And you tell, but the moth's like, Mr. Moth, I just want to tell you one thing. And the moth's like, okay, what is it? This light bulb's on a dimmer. You're at 25%, bro. And I'll tell you, you're not going to last long at 25%, but, I just thought I'd let you know, in case you wanted me to go over to that knob and turn it up. And the moth's like, turn it up, dude. Turn it up. Come on, man. Come on. It's like an addict, Come on. Turn it up. So you're like, Mr. Moth, you're not going to do so hot if I turn this thing up. And the moth's like, just turn it up. Okay, how high? What's the moth going to say? All the way, yeah. Give me the juice. That's what we're after. Did you know that when you pray in meditation that we do 3 times a day, you're supposed to stand perfectly still? But what do you see when you see people praying? What are they doing?
Struggling.
Yeah, you know why? Yeah, first of all, it could be the guy's just OCD. But why he's supposed to be still is because he's in meditation. You're not supposed to be body when you're in meditation. However, the Jews, the soul of the Jewish people is considered a likened to a candle. And what do candles do? They flicker. They flicker. Because why do they flicker? Because the flame is trying to actually get somewhere. Where's it trying to get? Where's it going? What direction? Up. The flame's trying to go up, which is a very suicidal mission, like the moth. Because what if the flame succeeded in jumping off the wick, which what it seems to be trying to do? What if it actually succeeded?
With that.
It would go out. It would extinguish. Reb Levi Yitzchak of Berditchev had a special minion of super holy people who would pray with him, these 10 men. One time they were praying. They weren't in Shemona Esrei, but they were in a part that was very intense. And they're all in their tefillin and their talises. Reb Levi Yitzchak's in the front leading. And all of a sudden, Reb Levi Yitzchak turns around. His face is red with fright. He runs across the room as fast as he can, dives, and slaps a pair of tefillin off the head of one of his 10 prayer cohorts. Slaps the tefillin off the head of one of the 10 people praying. Afterwards, that man said that the Rebbe saved his life. And when they asked the Rebbe said he had not even a whole entire second left before his flame was going to jump off the wick. And there's many stories in that era of super holy people. There was this whole renaissance in Kabbalah and spirituality that took place in their generation of many people who died in the middle of the holiest acts. There was one particular shamash or gabbai, an assistant, who when the Rebbe would meditate, he had a hourglass where he had to time it a few times, and then he has to go interrupt the Rebbe. And one time he got distracted, got taken out of the whole building, realized 20 minutes later, runs back to see the hourglass had finished, who knows, maybe 3 minutes ago. He runs in, he was gone. And the whole community and region lost the Rebbe. He was the leader of that region. They lost their Rebbe. Just because the Gabbai got distracted and didn't turn the hourglass. The jail is this world. The jail is the physicality. That was what Egypt was all about. It was called Ervas Haaretz, the nakedness of the land. It was a place with such depravity. In a region, Canaanites, the region of physicality is all there is. If you knew, how decrepit the lifestyle was in the Canaanite area, it's a freak out that we get that we're here. Because this land was oozing with filth. Oozing with filth. So much so that, what the Torah says? The Torah says to the Jews when we were crossing the desert and we were getting God angry. So God says, don't think it's because you're so holy I'm bringing you here. I'm bringing you here because the people who were here were so lowly that their time was up. They had to get out. Because I promised this to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but it's time's up. We can't have more of the filth of this region. So he took down Egypt, who were all about physicality and depravity. And we were born in that depravity. We're born inside that world. And you want to know something amazing is that we fell hard. Jews, what do you think, we didn't assimilate? We fell so hard in Egypt. The women didn't, but the men fell hard. But the main thing about this region was sexuality. The big time, bad stuff. Big time bad stuff. And the Jews were chaste. Even the men. Even the Jewish men who fell into the idolatrous practices of the Egyptians, they stayed chaste. All the women stayed chaste. In fact, we know the name of the one woman who actually had relations with an Egyptian man. She was raped. We actually know her name. It's recorded in the Torah, the name of the one woman who was raped by an Egyptian, because it was so, like that one woman during 210 years in Egypt. Only one time was a Jewess violated. This world is our jail, and our freedom is connection to the creator of it all. I mean, what do you think this world created itself? This is being created at all times. It's coming into existence right now. The world's happening right now. Show me a minute ago. Come on, show me a minute ago. Let's go. Show me a minute from now. Not here. So where's this place coming from? Where's it coming from? Think a minute ago created now? Think a second ago created now? Didn't create now. It couldn't create now. The world's coming into existence at all times. But if you don't get that and you go into what's called psychological time, where you're always thinking, oh, this moment's the effect of a previous cause moment, And I got to worry about tomorrow's moments. So you're in psychological time. You're not in reality. You're not in freedom. You're not. That's hametz. That's sheker. The truth is only now and now and now and now and now. And my homage, my dedication, my reverence, it's to the maker of that, like a moth to a light bulb, like a flame that's trying to jump off its wick. And to serve that being. To serve that being with all I've got. That's my freedom. Because otherwise you're just locked in. You're locked in the matrix. You're just in the physical world. You're in your psychological time, which is always past. The past way of looking at the world is filtering out your moments, and then you're always worrying about the future. So you're like, you're never here. And all the concerns of this physical world, it's our bondage. It's just that Egypt represented the ultimate expression of that. And the ervas of Egypt, the sexuality of Egypt, just represents the ultimate, because there's two things in the physical world that the animal desire goes for. It's reproduction and survival. But reproduction is much stronger than survival. That's why we see very wealthy men who've done a tremendous job surviving. They're driving around in a Porsche Cayenne. But they'll still do the stupidest thing ever and destroy their whole families. You know, destroy their family over sexuality on a business trip and ruin everything. It's because it's the strongest physical desire. So the physicality of this world is the Egypt. This world is Egypt. And we're leaving Egypt. And we're going to get rid of all the falsehood, all the fanciness, all the extras, all the fluff puffed up life we live. We're getting rid of that stuff right now so we can leave Egypt in just gorgeous biblical robes. And just me and God, just leaving Egypt. I don't need fancy. I just want real, because I want my foundations to be real. Things that are founded on real things are built to last. So we're getting rid of the fake now, and we're going into the real. So I want to bless everyone here, and everyone watching, and everyone on earth, to be free, and to be connected to God, and have the divine pulsing through their veins, and may we all feel the flame of our souls flickering upon our bodies, pining upward towards our Maker. May that be our alignment, our dedication, our reverence, and our life mission. Amen.